Of my early morning thoughts. Salute to you, gentlemen, this morning. Good morning. About to hit the gym. This is a leg day. And before some of the people get in the comments, I wanted to say this personally. This channel is not anti-relationship. I am pro-relationship. I'm just anti-torture. I say certain things on this channel. I love the ladies. I just understand them. And once you understand them, you get along with them great. From a distance, especially. And occasionally, never mind. Let me even go down that alley. Anyhow, getting into the conversation, a lot of men, including myself, as a single man, sometimes we become blinded or we become too comfortable and we become ungrateful and unappreciative of the freedoms that we have in this beautiful country that we live in, with all the amenities, all the freedoms. And you look, and I think a lot of it too for men is controlled by their hormones. Our hormones make us rationalize a whole lot of things. Like a guy would go through a traumatic experience, get over things, you heal. We're supposed to do that, that's normal. But he starts forgetting all of the torture and all of the struggles and all of the gaslighting and all of the nonsense he has to deal with because his hormones and his thirst wants that prey on. He wants to be in proximity to it. He wants comfort. And this is why I talk about on this channel, guys falling in love with their own company. But getting into the topic, one of the things that men didn't have in the past, especially you go to the 80s or the early 90s, is this access to information where men can compare notes and share knowledge and wisdoms with other men and their experiences, especially in relationship. Because again, a lot of men suffer in the dark and they're not going to say anything, especially around friend groups or anybody, because they know that everything they say can be used against them at a later date or at a period of time, weaponized against them. So guys will stay quiet. Even men will use that against them, especially if you've got men around that are cucks and other things. They're going to use that against you. So men stay quiet. But the internet is here and the conversations are out and guys talk all the time on the internet. Share, guys, there's people come in my channel, even my haters, they'll call me a whole lot of things, but they will never call me a liar. Because why? It's clear. You see it all around you. Even if you experience it in your life or you haven't experienced it. Let me tell you something. Smart men learn from experience. Wise men learn from the experience of others. And one of the best things about the internet is that there's this lack of empathy for male suffering. And that's why you see shows like couples therapy. Couples therapy is, in my opinion, is one of the greatest motivator and liberator of free men to stay free and maybe solve that temporary surge in hormone problem and keep it moving, keep it on moving. Unless you got a unicorn or an anomaly or the special, and you ladies that are you unicorns, you special ladies, I see you, the rare form, that 5% woman or whatever else. Salute to you ladies. It's not a conversation about all women, but sometimes with that guys, this couples therapy show, in my mind, you talk about, you don't even need a pre-workout. You watch about 20 minutes of that shit. I can take about 5 minutes of that a week. 5 minutes of that a week, and I'm motivated for the whole week. That's it. You mood stabilizer, appreciation. You watch about 5 minutes of that stuff, and you be out here hugging trees. You be out here like, yo, what's wrong with that dude? He went over there and hugged the tree. The dude's rolling in the grass. Better call the ambulance for that dude. He needs to go get a psych evaluation. Why is that dude skipping so happy? Dude running on the treadmill, he running 8, 9, 10 miles an hour on the treadmill and shit. What is inspiring that dude? Shoot, I remember I watched 20 minutes of couples therapy one time. I almost walked 10 miles that day. I didn't realize it. In celebration of my peace and my freedom. I'm telling you, the internet has given men the opportunity of prevention. Some guys still do what they do. Let's be honest. The draw, that draw of that pre-owned is so strong. So strong. They don't know how to pound and pass. If this was the NBA, these guys have the worst assist rating or basketball. They'd have the worst assist rating out here. They don't know how to pass things, insufferable things to the next guy. Give the guy an assist. Yeah, that's what happened to Klay Thompson. He pounded Meg Thee Stallion, and he got he's a ball hog. He got greedy. Those things were meant to be passed. You passed the rock. Ball movement, people movement. That's what make great offense, Klay. You got selfish with that ball. You're not supposed to be holding on to them 3 or 4s. They got a guy waiting wide open at the hole. You could have just hit him with that pass for a layup. It's passing on to the next cat. He tried to domesticate that thing. And the philosophy on this channel is let these wild horses run free. But let me tell you something. It's like sometimes you get complacent with your life and you think you're doing bad. And I watched that Best documentary. And you see some dude riding on the back of the train, packed up in India or Africa or somewhere else, and you'd be like, hell, thank you, God. You'd be grateful for your life. Well, couples therapy is like that for you single guys. You watch it, you absorb it, and you will see things clearly. And there's no utopia. There's no utopia anywhere on this earth for a man who's not in love with his own company, who doesn't have purpose, hobbies, who doesn't feel complete in himself, that is looking for some type of, some type of fulfillment from a creature that runs off of feelings and emotions that doesn't even like its own face. Don't get me wrong. I got nothing against the lady. This ain't not no... I just understand them. You ever seen them in the mirror? Have you ever really, just put your hormones aside for a second and sit down and watch and observe women? And you will understand, you'd almost like, what are you doing? Trying to look for happiness and fulfillment. They don't even like that. They pick at themselves all day long, and they hate each other. You get them by themselves and you have a conversation, and you will see how much resentment they have for the women around them. They, in a group, they'll gang up and destroy you, but when they really don't like each other, they sabotage each other all the time. They said that saying, men compete, women sabotage. But there's no real, solutions. There's only trade-offs in life. And a lot of guys got to go into situations doing the best vetting jobs they can possible. Don't listen to anecdotal dudes, and make a wise decisions about their life and their freedoms and their personal, because nobody cares about a man's happiness. Nobody gives a rat's ass about you. Nobody. I want you to look yourself in the mirror right now. Look yourself in the mirror. Am I talking about your mama and some family members or whatever, or people? Nobody gives a rat's ass about you. Even when relationships fail, you might as well just go ahead and say, it's my fault. Yeah, you know what? Because it's always going to be your fault, regardless of whether you did anything wrong or not. If your wife cheats on you, that's because you were a weak buster. You probably suck in bed, or you weren't doing the job, or maybe you were an abuser. The guys are going to come after you. The anecdotal guy is going to shame you and say, you know what, man? You just don't pick right. That's why. About 5 years from now, you probably get a divorce, that anecdotal guy. Every time an anecdotal guy comes and has shown no empathy for men, like karma gets his ass. And he comes home one day and his wife is getting folded up and pounded deeply by the UPS guy. He's like, maybe even as he walks into the room, the dude gets about 5 more strokes and busts on his wife's back and runs out the back door or something. That's the anecdotal guy. He comes and he lectures men. Because you know why? You know, he who feels it knows it. Who has no, some dudes just don't have any empathy. Or could be that guy who's maybe couldn't get that chick when he's 21 and finally she's worn out and she's finally like decided to settle down and she's like 30 something years old. He's guy number 45 and he's like, thinks he's won the lottery, but he has no idea what that chick was doing, you know, to the guys on the basketball team. And sometimes I have to remind him of that, you know, and I always tell him, like, I don't even say anything to certain guys. I'll come in here. I only say certain things really to get the cucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I will say something. Like, I would, you know, they'll say, like, well, you guys are early. And I would say something about, yeah, you know, I used to be that guy on the basketball team. Yeah, you're eating my leftovers. And I'll tell them that, some shit like that. Be like, oh, that's the guy who my wife probably got pounded by, or a guy like him. And then they'll shut up and they'll leave other men alone because they have no compassion or care for other men's suffering or other men's struggle, because they only care about their own life. They only care about, you know, they're getting pre-owned, whether it's, you know, delivered to them in a disrespectful life or no. Half the time, they don't. If you have any type of dignity or self-esteem for some of these guys, they don't even want to touch those women after being in a relationship for after a while. It's like the law of diminishing returns. A guy's on that treadmill of happiness, but you can't see that. You see, all you see is the surface, and your hormones is telling you. Your hormones is playing the game with you. That's what you're fighting against. You're fighting against your hormones, and that's what a lot of young guys struggle a lot. They think they're lonely, but they're just horny. And I always say on this channel, loneliness is just horniness turned upside down. You know, and in many instances, if that guy, you took him and got him a few services, got the oil changed a few times, and I say, well, okay, now that you're completely running on empty right now, physically, tell me what you think about that chick that you were so all into right now. Look at her right now. I want you to listen to her talk. Look at the package deal that she's selling you. Now that your sack is empty, what do you think about what you're looking at right now? And then you say, oh, peaceful life, I get it. That chick would tore my soul apart like them Hellraiser demons. Yeah, because you were thinking with your balls. You weren't thinking about your brain. That's why. You thought that you know, you're gonna make it all right. You're rationalizing, overlooking all these red flags, rationalizing her behavior. Because your ass is horny. That's why you're doing it. And you think you're gonna just pound and conquer her, or you're gonna tame that one, domesticate it, and you're gonna be living this happy, blissful life of prey being served to you on a constant basis. That's what you're thinking. But you don't realize the price you're going to have to pay. The price you're going to have to pay. And a lot of guys are like that in relationships. Not the anecdotal guy. You, anecdotal dude, don't come in here talking about, oh, you guys are this, and you guys are that, and you guys are this, and you guys are that. And this society and this culture, everybody's eating the leftovers. Let's be honest. Nobody's sexually liberated world. Nobody's, you know, half the time a guy is lucky to be guy number 10. By the time these women ready to settle down. So there's nothing special about you. What makes you think you have some type of special game or special powers? Why? That'd be like me, a peaceful life, you know, talking or flexing about the ability to acquire pre-owned. When realistically, because of my whatever, or some man's status or somebody's physical whatever, all he's able to do is dig deeper down the old country buffet trash can than you. I mean, that's it. I mean, you know, or maybe he has a, you know, he brags about his ability to get women. To me, that's like bragging about your ability to attract more STDs. I mean, that's just not winning. Well, I can get more herpes than you, a peaceful life. Well, congratulations, buddy. Have on at it. Because that's all you're saying. You're saying, well, that makes me a man because I can get more pre-owned than the other guy. Really? Pre-owned is probably worth, you know, me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know into these things. Maybe a crisp 50. Imagine a man bragging about the ability to acquire something that's worth about a crisp 50. You talk about losers. And you talk about the mindset, the mentality of some of these dudes. It always baffles me. And I wonder about it. You know, I'm ranting on about different topics, or conversation. But it's just me having my morning Wawa coffee. And these are just the thoughts in my brain. Because to be honest with you, this is a leg day. So I'm slow going into the gym. I'm going to drink this coffee and marinate and just talk to you gentlemen for a few. But yeah, I can take about 5 minutes of that a week. 1 5-minute sample. And that couples therapy. And guess what? I'm squared away for the week. Shit, 20 minutes would get me shit for months. That shit is brutal. But it opens up the portal of your mind. It makes you appreciate like these birds chirping in the back. It's beautiful. Peace is beautiful. Ever since I've taken on this peaceful sexual life that I live here, life itself has been a joy. It has. You know, I mean, like I said, there's no solutions, there are only trade-offs. The joy of freedom, the joy of a life without irritation is so beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Relationships are good. That doesn't mean I won't be in a relationship. But if I'm in a relationship, that woman has mastered the art of peace and pre-owned. And she's won me over. And she showed me, you know what? Shit, it's better with her than it is by myself. That's a tough sell, though. Because peace is sexy. I haven't met a woman yet that's more beautiful than peace. Damn, that's a tough combination. Peace is a perfect 10. And I am faithful. Trust me. I am damn faithful to peace. I'm in love with peace. Consume that shit every day. Anyhow, with that being said, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this coffee. And gentlemen, do something nice for yourself today, because nobody takes care of you like you. Nobody gives a rat's ass about your existence. I'll say that. Maybe little family members. Yeah, I'm not talking about your mama and everybody. I'm talking about strangers and other people. You know, they don't give a rat's ass about you. You're in control of your happiness. You're in control of the things that you control. You control the man in the mirror. That's about the thing you have consistent control over. But treat yourself nice. I mean, treat yourself nice and understand that 9 times out of 10, the way you feel is a way that you've been programmed to feel. And you're just not really looking at things from different perspectives. All you see is what your mind and your heart or your hormones have imagined. But what is the reality of what's going on in those situations? Or what is the reality of life? It's just a feeling that you're having. But think deeply and look deeply at circumstances and situations, because there are no solutions. There's only trade-offs. I'm not going to offer you some bullshit, sell you some coarse, antiquated, outdated, bullshit ass, goofy, stupid shit that don't apply to 2026. Because like even with the young man, well, what about, ask me about certain things about dating a relationship? You're going to have to be a master today of detecting mental illness Before you can worry about dating and whatever else, you're going to be able to identify bipolar disorder, and NPDD, borderline personality disorders as a young man, and run quickly. Because there's nothing free. You pound that crazy broad, don't think you make a mistake of she finding out your address or finding out about you. You've got a crazy ass woman at your house or around you, and she knows how to use the state. You got a hell to get out of. So you got to be an expert at avoidance, protection game nowadays, because social media itself has created an environment of delusion and mental illness. They're going to be doing studies about this shit. Studies will be done about this stuff. Studies to find out the mental health effect on people, women particularly. Attention is the most dangerous drug right now in the world. And trust me, they smoke that crack regularly. And to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm looking at most of the time. There's levels of delusion that if you have a conversation, you'll be shocked. And it ain't just the young people, it's the old people. I've seen some old women trying to bring back things from the dead, trying to raise the dead on social media. I'm looking like, damn, I'm a Gen Xer and I'm old and bald. And I'm seeing some things trying to be brought back from the 80s and the 90s. And they've used filters and fillers and all kinds of sorcery to rebrand some stuff and sell it at what is that? I'm like, oh my God, that woman's someone's a 50-year-old woman. I'm 51. Like, what are you doing? It's madness out here. So this is a twilight zone. So I can't give you advice based on a normal world. I'd be giving you 1992 advice. And you go out here and get your ass smoked. I wouldn't do that, but I'm saying, obviously my mind is adjusted to the times. I am observant and I can see what's going on. I can tell you that right now. You go buy somebody's 1992 game course on some guy who's been married for the last 20 years, 25 years. And, well, you know, he game. And he's a bitch at home, pretending to be something on the internet, selling you his course for $49.99 or $39.99. That dude gonna get you out here, get your ass smoked out here. In fact, you dealing with somebody that runs on purely on delusion and mental illness, and you approach them. It's almost like you're disrespecting them because you devalue them. The audacity of you to walk up to me, and I am a goddess, and you are just a regular man. They're insulted by you. And that person probably just a regular basic person, but they're high on delusion and they have some serious issues, and you're going to get your ass disrespected because you hurt their feelings by talking to them and lowered their value in their mind. The game coaches don't talk about that because don't make no money. Anyhow, I got to go to the gym, gentlemen. Peace and blessings to you guys. Do something nice for yourself today. You got one life to live. I don't care what you do, man. Just do something nice for yourself. Peace and blessings to you guys. I'm out. Take care of yourself and enjoy your Friday.